Hey everyone, it's Hopper and we are at mile 506 of the Pacific Crest Trail headed southbound, leaving Cascade Locks, but there's a twist on this. There's an alternate route. It's approved and it's supposed to have some beautiful waterfalls, so I'm going to take that. In fact, everyone recommends it. So let's check it out. Hike on. Okay, after a short distance, we found our first pseudo waterfall, but I definitely think we can do better. Alrighty, well, the alternate has finally reconnected with the PCT here at Indian Spring Campground, and here's the water from Indian Spring, so that's always good, and I'm going to call it a night here. Wow, today was absolutely beautiful. The waterfalls, the river, going up the canyon, but there was a 4,000 foot of elevation gain, and right at the end, it was really steep. But here I am at camp mile 524.9, making it about an 18.9 mile day. Got my tent right there, but I'm not the only person who decided to make this place home for the night. So yeah, it was a good day, but I'm back here where the alternate connected and ready to continue southbound in the morning. I decided to wear shorts today, and wow, yep, that's not a tan line, that's actually dirt. Hey, good morning. Well, the rains came as scheduled last night, about 9 p.m., and ended about 7 a.m. this morning. These clouds you see are remnants from that rainstorm, but yeah, it's actually not too bad, and time to hike on. So I just stopped here for a snack on trail and decided to have some of these sport beans, and I just noticed that Sport Beans will donate 5% of their sales to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Right there. Check that, that's pretty cool. See, we're all supporting BCRF. Well, the clouds are finally starting to clear up today, and we get a good look at Mount Hood. Here at mile 543, we have a junction. We can take the PCT or the Ramona Falls Trail. And I've heard nothing but good things about the waterfalls, so let's go. Hey, good evening. Well, I'm here at mile 546.4, making it a 21.5 mile day. If you can tell here in the video, my tent is still a little wet from last night's rain. Hopefully it'll dry off quick. I have no idea what I'm going to make for dinner, something, and go to bed. But tomorrow, Timberline Lodge. Timberline Lodge is getting real close. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the Timberline Lodge. But if you think I'm staying here, well, you thought wrong. See, the Timberline Lodge is about $350 a night. It's very posh. So that's typically doesn't coincide with hikers. But they do have a legendary buffet. The breakfast buffet is supposed to be just off the charts. And at 11 o'clock, they switched to a lunch buffet, which is why I'm arriving just before 10. I might actually try both. And this breakfast buffet is definitely legendary, as I'm sitting here with my fellow hiker Trash. Well, unfortunately, I gotta say goodbye to the lodge here. The food was amazing. I definitely got my eat on, but I gotta get back on trail after a 5-hour delay here. So time to hike on. What do we have here? Looks like someone left some Skittles. Is it trail magic? I guess I'll just leave it for the next hiker who needs some energy. Hey there, well, it was a great day. I mean that buffet was just amazing there at the Timberline Lodge. In fact, I ate so much, I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually cook a dinner. I might just have something light and then go to bed. And despite taking a 5-hour break, it ended up being a 19.5 mile day. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the miles are coming faster and easier. Hey, good morning. Well, I did something this morning that I've never done in over a month on trail. Can you guess? Well, I actually ate ramen noodles, which are pretty much a staple on trail for most hikers, but I just hadn't had them yet. And this morning I had 2 packages of ramen noodle and a foil packet of chicken. It was really good. Last night where I hiked, there was another hiker named Atlas, and he noticed the pink ribbon, and he made a donation. So that was pretty cool. So if you go to the donation page, you'll see his donation. But I also did want to note that the very first donation on there for $100, and it looks like it came from me. Nah, it's not from me yet. It's actually from Trail Angel Jeff, who I became friends with and still stay in contact with. And yeah, so he Venmo'd me $100, and that's that donation. So yeah, it's always good to get support from the trail community for the causes and the fundraising that I'm doing here on the trail. So yeah, together we can beat breast cancer. You may have heard of Crater Lake, which should be further south in Oregon, but this is Little Crater Lake coming up, and I've had 2 northbound hikers tell me that this is a must-see. So, let's go check it out. And here we have Little Crater Lake. It's 45 feet deep, the water is crystal clear, and here's the interesting part. Even in the summer, the water only gets to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Brr, that's cold. I ain't swimming in here. The PCT is also shared with horses. Now this is definitely a good sign. Looks like we got some trail magic up ahead, maybe? Trail magic time, oh yeah. Got a nice pancake, a Coke, and a smile. We are now entering Warm Springs Indian Reservation. We have access, but no one's allowed to hunt, and that's cool with us. Hey, good evening. Well, it was a great day on trail. Of course, any day that you get trail magic is always great. And believe it or not, somebody else recognized me again from the videos, which is yeah, pretty cool. So Valerie, thanks so much for sharing your huckleberries that you found. And don't worry, I won't tell anybody where your secret huckleberry bushes are. So yeah, today was a 24.1 mile day, and that's without even trying. I tell you, Oregon is just fast. Just the terrain is not as rugged as up in Washington, and yeah, you can just do big miles on accident. So, but tomorrow I'm gonna be in Olali. There are so many berries out here. Gotta eat them all. Well, some other animals eating the berries, you can literally see them in the poop. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to believe, but in just over 1 month, we have now reached at mile 600 on the PCT southbound. Olali Lake, just 3.5 miles to go. We are now entering Mount Hood National Forest and leaving Warm Springs Indian Reservation. Okay, there's a bear up ahead. There's a bear. Hey, Smokey! How's it going, buddy? Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. This is Head Lake, and if we want, we can actually swim here. But we're headed toward Olali, 0.1 miles to go. Behold my eyes! That is Olali Lake. But Olali isn't just a lake, it's also an oasis. There's a store where you can get food, cold drinks, even cold beer. There's shopping, there's camping, there's a pit toilet that's supposed to be wicked clean. And yeah, it's just, it's a great oasis here in the middle of a burnt out area. Okay, so here's the actual grocery store. This is where all happiness begins. So it was only a 17-mile day, but that's okay, because there's an amazing view here, and it is 2:45 in the afternoon. I would have been here earlier, but I had to stop to eat all those blueberries. And with this view for my lunch and snack, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. Now entering Mount Jefferson Wilderness. We're just hitting all the good places on this hike. Hey everyone, well, it was a great night there in Olali. At first there weren't that many backpackers, but eventually I'd say about 15 or 16 showed up, so there was plenty of trail family and hiker trash around. So I did meet another hiker, John. He actually recognized me from my PCT videos, but John, very impressive. He was one of the few people who actually hiked through the snowbound Sierras this year, and he's going at a great pace. He should finish up the trail in about a month. You may notice that the horizon is pretty hazy. So apparently there's a fire happening in Eugene, Oregon, and possibly another one in Bend. It's not affecting the trail right now, but it could in the future. All it takes is an ember to catch a wind gust, and that fire can spread quickly. So we got to be on our toes. Hey, and I definitely want to send a special thank you to the PCTA volunteer crew, trail crew members. Thanks a lot, guys. And yeah, and definitely thanks for the trail magic too. It might not look like much, but this is going to be home for the night. Hey, good evening. Well, as you can tell, I'm in my tent after a 19.3 mile day, and yeah, it actually felt good. A lot of burned out areas, but Mount Jefferson looked pretty majestic. So for some reason, I decided to actually count the number of northbound hikers that I crossed paths with today while going southbound. Believe it or not, 75 northbounders. Statistically, there should only be 45, which means that there is a massive bubble of northbounders right now. And that could explain why sometimes there's a little competition for the campsites. This campsite I'm at right now isn't necessarily a listed campsite, but it was in the comments, and that's how I knew it was here. So yeah, I might have to stop the late days and maybe find a campsite a little earlier from now on, or at least until the northbound bubble passes. Hey, good morning. Well, it's been a beautiful day so far. In fact, got some great views of sights and got Mount Jefferson and just ponds. It's been amazing. But things are about to change. Word is that there are a lot of blowdowns coming up. And this is just an example of one. Now this would have been nasty trying to get through here, but you can see that some trail maintenance crews recently cut through this. In fact, you can even smell the fresh wood. Okay, here at Minto Pass, there is the option of taking an alternate, but I've been hearing that this isn't too bad staying on trail. So for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm gonna stick to the trail. Hey, good evening. Well, it was a 22.8 mile day, not too bad. There were a few blowdowns, but honestly, it's not as bad as everyone was saying. In fact, I never had to take my backpack off and never had to crawl under anything and basically just walked around stuff or over it. It was not a problem at all. I did see my first deer in Oregon, which was kind of cool. The deer was a little more skittish than the deer up in Washington, but yeah, no, that was pretty cool. But and tomorrow, I get into Big Lake, and I'll get a new resupply and a whole new choice of food to eat. Hey, good morning. Well, remember last night when I said that I just saw my first deer in all of Oregon? Well, apparently I was in the nest of deer. I mean, I don't know if deer use nests, but all night long I could hear the deer walking through the campsite. It was a campsite that had 4 or 5 of us hikers. They were just making noise, keeping us awake, kind of annoying. But yeah, next time I think I see a deer in Oregon, I want it to be in the form of venison jerky. And also the northbound hiker count from yesterday, I thought it was going to be a bit lower, at about, in the low 60s. But then right before I got to camp, I was passed by like 10 northbounders. So the number ended up being 72. So is that a little bit less than 75 from the day before? Sure it is. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the trend continues. Right here at Old Summit Trail is where that detour from yesterday would have reconnected with the PCT. But I'm definitely glad that I actually took the trail and didn't take the alternate this time. Just before crossing Highway 20 at Santiam Pass, there's a trailhead with a toilet. And as a wise old man once told me, never pass up a toilet. Okay, Frogger time. Wild strawberries. I haven't seen these on trail yet, and if you've never had them, oh, you gotta try them. They are the sweetest, most delicious strawberries. Way better than what you'll find in the stores. After a 9-mile hike from camp last night, we're finally arriving at the Big Lake Youth Camp. This is a place where PCT hikers can totally relax, get a shower, do some laundry, get some food, and just chill. So yeah, it's good to be here. And of course I made it just in time for lunch, as usual. Hey everyone, thanks for following along so far here to mile 658 at the Big Lake Youth Camp. And thanks for your support in the fight against breast cancer. The donation link below to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, you will see that we have already raised $730 toward the goal of $1,150. And remember, I will match dollar for dollar all donations up to the goal. Thanks so much for following along, and thank you so much for everything. Hike on!